Alright, hello guys. So for this video I wanted to take a minute and go over the water monitoring test kit that we collected water with and just kind of show you a little bit about how these tests work. I'm not going to run through every single one of these tests because you may not all have the kits already or may not even order these kits, but I do want to show you how easy and simple they are by showing you what's available in them. So what's great is this container itself is going to be the first test that you can run. So inside every pack is going to be a little sticker, and this sticker is going to look like this. This is a Secchi disc. Okay, a Secchi disc is basically this disc that you submerge in water, and this I have to put in the center of the container. So if you look at it right here, I don't know if you can see it's in the middle, right? So what would happen now is I would take that water sample that I have, okay, that's the one we collected at the local park, and you would put it up to the turbidity line. Okay? Now in the turbidity line you'll then follow it, fill it up as much as you can, and so this can be done at home or it can be done in the field. Now I prefer to do this in the field with students if you have enough time. If you've got a 45-minute period, you kind of have to meet the kids out there. If you do not have the 45-minute period, then it's best to bring in the water and have them test it themselves. It's not vital that they get the data specifically the way it's supposed to. What is vital is that they get to understand what all the tests are. So if they are able to see, what this looks like, and I can't show it to you as good here, so I'm going to bend the camera if you bear with me. Right? But inside there, you can now see the Secchi disc, and it's a little cloudy at this point, right? Well, here's the best part. The water monitoring kit itself, they have the really good little manual involved here, and you can then see how to test this. So for turbidity, it actually has on this side a level, so you can kind of compare. This is NTU, those are I think Nansen turbidity units, or JTU, I'm sorry, but it's turbidity units. So you can see how cloudy the water looks and then compare and see what's going on in there, right? So that's one way. That's why I recommend you take this out in the field. You can do that. The only test I would say that's absolutely necessary to take out and test in the field is dissolved oxygen. But if you can't do that, it's okay to run the test in lab. Bring the water to your kids, as I did right now, but it's not super vital that they get to see accurate data. I know that sounds bad, but as long as they get the concept, they're not going to be asked on their AP exam, what dissolved oxygen is best, because that depends on your body of water, your organisms, and so on. So that is something that I really do like about this. And so if you look at the card here, you can see we're looking at turbidity. There's coliform test in the middle, and then there's a pH test as well. And then we have on the other side dissolved oxygen, nitrates, phosphates. So what's great is I don't actually have a write-up for this lab because the instruction manual that comes with it is super clear. If you've used those heavy briefcase looking water monitoring kits, it's a real challenge because they're not really clear, and they have to perform in-field titrations. This one it's kind of a bummer because kids don't understand that they give up. But what's great about this one is that they're able to read and go through this, and it has really great visuals on what they're supposed to do and what they're not supposed to do. Okay, so the materials you're going to find in here are going to be a couple of sleeves to do a couple of these tests. So in the dark, they have their own test tubes, these plastic test tubes, and then wrapped up in here, this is one test I am going to do. There's a capsule inside this, or a tablet, inside this tube that's pre-marked. This is the fecal coliform test. So what's cool here is, and I do have a transfer pipette that's something here. So bear with me, I got a whole bag of them. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some of this water in our monitoring kit still, right? And we're going to take some of that out and we're going to fill it to the tab. So this is how easy the fecal coliform test is. You pour the water in to the line that it has, and when it's done, at that line, you will simply close it. The instructions, I believe, say not to stir it up. Okay, and the capsule should be in there. It's going to fall. And the catch is that this needs to be held there for 24 to 48 hours. Okay, so then we cap it, and you leave this in a location where it won't be disturbed, it won't be tipped over, and then you're going to see that there's going to be a change in the next 24 to 48 hours. If it's a negative test, it's super clear because the water itself will become red. If it's a positive test, it will become yellow. And once it's positive, you don't want to open it up unless you have to clean it out and throw it, because it will be very stinky. So that is one test you can do. Now, you can only do this test twice per kit, because that's the only one that you have to have a specific tab and test tube. Every one of these other ones, they do come, these are all tablet tests that are really easy to do. They're not titration, but these are all tablet tests that can be done multiple times. I do believe there are 8 tablets or more per kit. So pH can be tested multiple times. Nitrate, dissolved oxygen you have to use 2 tabs for those. They do have a phosphorus test, okay, and they do have it's actually the extra dissolved oxygen. So, and they do have all the tubes that come with it and are necessary. So really, all you have to do is take this one container with you in the field, and you can do the test out in the field and compare and contrast your results with each other out there. And so it's a really great kit. I'd love to, I wish we could be face to face so we could take these out and see them in a real lab setting, in a real field setting, and run these tests out. So I highly recommend them. I'm going to show in our face-to-face session where you can purchase them. Carolina, you can, and what's great too is you can purchase the refills for the tabs as well. So this kit can last you a long time if you're willing to put some finances into it. But it's a really easy thing to do, and it's fairly cheap. Some of those briefcase kits from LaMotte, they run you between $200 or $500 or even more if you're going to be precise, like EPA level. But this ends up running you no more than $40. So on Amazon, I believe the price for it is something like $35, $38. Carolina and Fisher, and I believe Ward's have it at $35 or $32, maybe the cheapest. And again, if you purchase this through your school, the cost will go down, especially if you purchase more kits. So that is definitely something I would recommend. This is a great, great kit. Very easy and user-friendly for high school students. And again, the point is that they get the experience understanding what these things are. So if your dissolved oxygen is not 100%, don't feel bad. Don't feel like you're shortchanging the kids. As long as they are testing it, seeing that there might be changes, if you're looking at, in my situation, we have canals and ponds that are artificial, that are all treated effluent. So you can actually take kids to 2 different sites. We have canals that are used for irrigation, and then you can also take them to the treated effluent locations and find out, well, is there runoff in those? How much is getting treated from the effluent? And then you can run that tests. So there's many applications to this. If you'd like to turn this into an inquiry lab where they're actually out there collecting data, by all means, if you have the means to use this over and over and over again, you can run those tests multiple times and do full long-term monitoring. So really easy kit, very usable, and something that I think all kids should have some experience with for the nuclear exam. Okay.